And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Oz Country Down Under Monday Night Live. And tonight we have our very special guest joining us from Melbourne. It is none other than Chris Williams. And here he is. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, good, Dave. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm very good. Now I'm just going to share this with a few places before we
Yeah.
move along. All right, so Nicholas Bins has joined us. Hello, Nicholas. How are you, buddy? And so we'll just share this with the Oz Country Down Under group. There we go. And Danny Shaw has joined us. Hello, Danny Shaw. Welcome.
Hey, Danny.
And yes, there you go. And Nicholas says, hi, Dave, and welcome, Chris. There you go.
Thanks, Nick.
And Brad Carter's joined us. There you go. We've got some more joining us. There you go. There he is. That's your partner in crime, isn't it?
He is, yeah.
He is. All right. So let's start with obviously Oz Country Down Under is a new setup, so we don't know much about our artists. So let's start from the beginning. Where did Chris Williams come from, and how did music happen for you?
Yeah. I suppose the first time I had some exposure to music was in my early teens. Well, not in my early teens. Sorry, when I was about 4 or 5. I remember the first record I ever bought was Michael Jackson, Thriller, and we had an old record player at home, and I just remember the feeling of music when you're younger. You know, it was so powerful and sort of overbearing. And I remember my parents used to play the soundtrack. It's an old movie. It's called Chariots of Fire. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I know the movie Chariots of Fire.
She used to play the soundtrack to that, and she even talks to me about it to this day. I was scared. I was really scared of it, you know. And but anyway, as I loved music and started listening to it more and more. Probably my early teens, I started listening to a bit more sort of grunge music in the 90s. And I bought a guitar. Well, my parents bought me a guitar actually for Christmas. And
so you wanted to be the next Kurt Cobain?
Well, yeah. I mean, I liked Nirvana. They weren't too bad. I was more into bands like Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, yep.
A little bit more edgy sort of grunge rock. And yeah, and just sort of went from there. Learned guitar, learned a lot of songs from there, and I suppose as I got a bit older, I started to appreciate artists like Keith Urban, Fleetwood Mac, and Tom Petty as well. And just really like that earthy songwriting and harmonies and that sort of thing. And yeah, I really jumped on board with that sort of stuff, and sort of fast forward to today. That's sort of what I try and model my songs off. Sort of those three artists, and a lot of other influences. But yeah, I was into music production there for probably about 4 or 5 years as well, learning how to produce music, and just always been a big fan of music just since I was very young.
Yeah, cool. So you've had what? We're up to 4 singles now. All right.
4 singles. Yep.
4 singles. So we got the first single was, just looking here, "Shining on You."
Yeah.
And that did quite well. It got to number 3 on the top 40 songs. Yep. And so what was that experience like? You know, getting up to it into a chart debut song. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, well, that was the first song that I wrote myself, and I honestly knew nothing about the country industry or anything. I just organically sat down and wrote a song, and I know it sounds silly, but I think I was listening to that Sheryl Crow song, "If It Makes You Happy." That song,
If It Makes You Happy.
Yeah. I still remember it, and it starts with, I think it's a G chord right at the start, and I was like, that G sounds really just full and good, you know. And I sort of modelled the riff of that song, "Shining" off sort of that warm G, and I don't know, I just went from there, and I wrote the song, and I had no sort of direction of what I wanted it to sound like or anything like that. It was just more, I was listening to lots of different music, and I just sort of put my own thing together, and it took a while to write it, and I wrote the music to it, and then I put it in my car and drove around for probably about 4 weeks, and the whole song was recorded, as in the music of it was recorded, and I just started humming a tune to it, and eventually I wrote the lyrics from just sort of humming a rhythm, and I wrote it, I put it together, and I played it for a few people, and they said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Sounds like sort of country song." And I said, "Oh yeah, cool." And I actually sort of manually started to send it to radio stations. I just said, "Oh, here's my song. I'd love to come in and talk about it," and that sort of thing. And I got on. I didn't actually get on Facebook. I got on Twitter, and I saw a lot of artists were using Twitter and sort of promoting their music on that. And I saw a lot of radio stations had pages and things like that. And so I just started sending it out to just individual places, and then eventually I got asked to go into a few radio stations, and they started talking about certain distribution models as to how you can get your music out there. And I sort of learned about those, and then eventually put it on a distribution model and got it out to a lot more radio stations, and came in touch with Key 2 from there as well, and it just all sort of happened from there.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, like getting onto the country tracks. No, now it's called Country Songs Top 40 chart. There is a method to be able to get onto that chart. Getting onto that CRS distribution platform gives you an up into that chart as well. So, and then of course having a publicist that works for you, such as Key 2. Hi Therese and hi Ali. No, I'm sure if they're not there now, they'll watch it later, so it's fine. So, so country music's a hard industry to crack at the best of times. Knowing that your past was sort of grunge era, what made you slide into that country era?
It was. I suppose it was in my probably mid 20s to 30. I started to appreciate different sorts of music, and I didn't really sort of appreciate a lot of traditional country as we know it, but Keith Urban was big for me. That album Golden Road that he had, I just loved every
awesome album.
Just loved it. Loved the sound. It was sort of like rock, but it was country rock, right? That got me hooked on it, and then I started to look at a lot of artists differently as well. I started looking at like John Cougar Mellencamp and his sound, and Keith talks about John Cougar about being quite a big influence on him, and
certainly was.
And it just started from there, and I don't know if Brad's listening, but I met Brad Carter probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was into music production, and I didn't really have a direction with what music I was doing and stuff. But I met Brad, and Brad was a solo artist and used to do solo gigs, around the place, sort of thing. And we met, and we decided to do an acoustic duo and just play covers around the place. And we went to a place down here in Melbourne called Sunbury. There was an open mic night, and Brad and I decided, let's go to this open mic night, and we'll do a couple of songs and see what people think, right? And
for sure.
So we did a couple of covers, and it went really well, and people sort of wanted us to keep playing, and we had really good comments, and it all started from there. We started doing gigs, Brad and I, from there, and it was doing the live music and doing the live gigs over the years. I started to think about songs and what songs kind of stand the test of time, and it was artists like John Cougar and Keith, and you play these songs, these classic songs for people at pubs and clubs and stuff. No matter what age they are, they just resonate, these songs, and there's something about them to a lot of music you hear today. I mean, there's some great artists out there, but there's something about those classic songs, and sometimes simple is good when you're writing a song. A simplistic chord arrangement, and just meaningful lyrics and meaningful words. And I started to understand what good songwriting was about, and I just tried to employ that into what I do.
Very good. So your second song after that was "Speed of Light." What was that? What was that song about?
Yeah, I wrote that song. A close friend of mine, close family member, went through a near-death experience. Actually, had one of his valves on it to his heart sort of exploded. It nearly died. He was in the hospital and everything like that. And I was sort of thinking about him when I wrote that song, and I sort of wrote the lyrics. It sort of hit me at the speed of light. I don't want to waste this life. And it's just about celebrating life that we're here, and I sort of used that incident to sort of write a song around it, and it spurred on from there.
There you go. Then the third single, of course, we're up to the third single already. My goodness. The third single was "Live in the Moment," and obviously with that one, you produced your first video clip.
Yeah. So the momentum started to spur on from there, and I thought I wanted to go big with this one and do a film clip. And "Live in the Moment's a pretty sort of a fun summer kind of vibe song, and so I contacted the guys from the Filmery, and we come up with a concept and an idea, and they were onto it from the beginning. They knew what it should look like, and I completely agreed with them. And it was a fantastic experience. We did it all in one day. It was a Sunday, and the weather was beautiful. We filmed it in Sorrento in Melbourne. Yeah, just the beach along there in Sorrento. We had a boat. We went out in the ocean for the day. It's a funny story though, because we had a gig the night before, which was long story. We couldn't cancel this gig, and and I had to be up at I had to be up at 6 to get to the shoot by 8, and we had the whole thing planned out, right? But I knew I was going to get home at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, right? And I thought, this is going to be rough. So we did the gig. I got home. I honestly reckon I had about an hour and a half sleep the night before. So whenever I look at that video, I feel like I know how tired I was that day. I know how tired I was that day. And but I just it was like adrenaline. I was on adrenaline that whole day, to get through it all. And I'm convinced something's happened to me inside from that. It couldn't have been healthy, but look, it was a fantastic experience. It was great. It was a beautiful day.
So something I don't get to ask many artists. Do you have a lot to do with the editing process of the video clip?
No, with that one I didn't. They basically send you through a draft of the clip, and I think we made like a couple of changes. But look, Josh from the Filmery was just he was so on the ball of what I wanted and what we wanted. It was I've never actually worked with someone so clued in like that. It was just it was a no-brainer. It just came together pretty much straight away.
Well, obviously for me, because I was in China for a long time, "Live in the Moment" was the first song I heard from Chris Williams. I actually hadn't heard the other two singles. So and I was really impressed with the whole thing. I was really impressed with the video clip and the song. Great song, as you said, very lighthearted, and it's a fantastic song. So yes.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
But now you've gone and created another song. All right. Your new single's called City Lights. Let's talk about that. What was the inspiration for the song, and how did it come about?
Yeah, City Lights. I wrote that song about it's sort of about finding inspiration in life to take your life to the next level. And you know, we're all running around doing our day-to-day stuff that we've got to do, but it's sort of it's about finding that extra piece of you know, optimism, and just to take things to the next level. And for me, that's Melbourne. That's the city of Melbourne. I I go to certain places in Melbourne when I just need to think and just get my head clear, and think about the next steps. And so the song's really about that. It's about finding a place where you can go to you know, reset and inspire yourself to push to the next level. So yeah, that's what the song was about. I sort of, in the verses, it talks about sort of what I was doing, you know, playing a lot of gigs in the city and playing midnight shows and stuff like that. So it's reflective of me personally as well. But yeah, the song itself is just about finding inspiration in the day-to-day life that we all lead.
So of course, hold on, let me see. We got some people saying hello. So let me just get that there. Ian Voss says, hi guys.
G'day, Ian. How are you?
All right. Michael Raymond Bryden says, hey, Chris and Dave.
Hey, Michael.
And of course, you'll know this one. Beth Brown says, hi, Chris and Dave.
Ah, Beth Brown. How are you, Beth?
Hey, Beth. And we've also got Angie Maxwell just came on, said, hi, Chris and Dave. Great interview. Thank you, Angie.
Hey, Angie, how are you?
All right. And Christine Vanus says, my grandparents were Williams also. So there you go.
There you go.
Hey, could be related.
Could be related.
All right. So I suppose City Lights brings me to another point. All right. You're not generally a country boy. You've grown up in the city of Melbourne. All right. So
I suppose, I'm actually, well, I'm listed as Melbourne. I live about 40 minutes out of Melbourne. So the town I live in is it's half country, half sort of half country, half city. But so I'm a little bit out. But yeah, I'm mainly city based. Yeah.
Yep. Mainly city based. So which part of Melbourne do you live? Because I live
in the western part of Melbourne.
The western part. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's Heidelberg?
No, out sort of past sort of like Bacchus Marsh sort of way.
Oh, so out where Pete lives. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah,
that area. There you go. Because I used to live in Melbourne when I was younger.
Did you?
I've lived in Croydon and lived, you know, sort of up in the Dandenong Mountains for a while, and I lived in Toorak. I love that.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. What's no, okay. So Brad Carter says, nice insight into the life of Chris Williams, thumbs up. And then he says, say it, mate. What's he trying to say it?
I'm thinking, Brad. I'm formulating my answers. He's probably having a me because I'm not saying it.
All right. So now, do you generally do Chris Williams shows, or do you just generally do the cover shows, the duo shows?
We do a bit of both. We mainly do cover shows, but we'll sort of throw a song in here and there type of thing. Obviously, we played Tamworth last year, and that was based around myself, my solo stuff. And we had some covers to sort of fill in the gaps and things. So yeah, a bit of both. So we're just sort of chipping away at both of them. But the gigs we play in Melbourne are mainly covers gigs. Yeah.
All right. Here's a question from Beth Brown. Brad, you should be up there too. Is this the start of a new album? So let's see what's going on with that, because you've got 4 singles already, and what's next for Chris Williams?
Yeah, well, it's been a long way. It's been a long story to get the EP out there, but I'm hoping we can drop the EP in December. which will be there'll be one more track which I haven't released to radio, which will be on that EP. It's called Beautiful World, and that'll release the 5 songs onto an EP in December. And then next year it'll just be about writing more songs. Brad and I are looking at putting a song together as well and putting something out there, and also I'll just keep writing songs, keep writing content, and keep getting it out there.
Do you have anything coming up for Tamworth this year?
No, I purposely didn't sort of pursue Tamworth this year, but it's a bit of a shame because we've got a key because we've got a key 2 showcase, and we've got the ICMA Awards, and there's a few things going on there as well. But it was such a big year last year. We and being in Melbourne, it's a bit of a trip, so we hadn't planned to go anywhere for this year. But who knows? Last minute, might just get in the car and go. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to see you there because you are a nominee, a finalist for the ICMA Awards in 2 categories. One for your single, "Live in the Moment," and the second for the video clip, "Live in the Moment." So we should see you there at least for those awards.
Yeah,
they're on the 20. They're on the 25th. They're on the 25th of January. They're on the 25th of January from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's still time to organise it, but yeah.
There you go. Donna, a plug for you. All right. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Your mum's listening. Look at that. Mum says listening. Yeah, your mum says listening to my son. So proud.
Oh, thanks, Mum.
Good on you, Mum. And Amy Williams also says, sounding great, guys. Yeah, thumbs up and sounding great, guys. There you go. So, and Brad's actually saying he's in the hospital with his little girl. So that's a shame. Sorry about that, Brad. I hope everything works out and everything's fine.
Hope everything's all right.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So we're going to now ask if you would like to play your new track. You have a guitar with you?
Oh, we can. We can maybe do something. I'll grab the guitar.
Oh, don't break it.
There we go. There we go. I'm in the frame. I'm all right.
That's funny. Just as I said that, Brad Carter typed up, "Play the new single live, mate."
Play the new single. Yes.
All right.
Here we go.
So here is Chris Williams with the new single. It's called "City Lights." There we go.
Last night I was dreaming of someone like you, living to the limit, and I need a shot of something new. Riding on the night train, places looking all the same, playing needs a midnight show. When the sun goes down, there's a place that we can go. Gotta throw 'em up just to break it all down. Love is like a whirlwind that we go around. You know it's getting crazy, girl, but it's only getting better from here. Take you up high, bring you down low. Love is just a feeling, don't you know? Now maybe we can start a little rumor tonight. Maybe we can dream out under these city lights. Come on, let's go underneath the city low, shining like the sea of a light. Tell me how you dreaming while I'm living these summertime nights. This life ain't nothing but a crazy ride. We keep on working at 9 to 5, so I keep wondering, take a bite. So baby, we can make it if we look into the city light. We gotta throw 'em up just to break it all down. start a little tonight. Maybe we can dream out under these city lights. Under these city lights. Under these city lights, yeah. Shout it out loud. Love is like a whirlwind merry-go-round. You know it's been crazy, girl, but it's only getting better from here. Take you up high, bring you down low. Love is just a feeling, don't you know? Now maybe we can start a little tonight. Maybe we can dream out under these city lights. Under these city lights. Under these city lights. We can stay all night, baby. We can watch the sunrise. There you have it.
Oh, good man. Good man. Thank you very much for that. That's awesome.
Cheers. Thanks, Dave.
No worries. So that is your new single, City Life. And I believe it is actually on that Country Jack's Top 40 chart, isn't it?
Yeah, it just broke in last week. So, yeah, I was pretty happy about that. Yeah, it's good.
And you're on a few charts. Tell us about that, because I did see a post earlier this morning, earlier today, saying you're on a few charts.
Yeah. It's been out for a week and a half, and yeah, it's a Country Tracks chart. I think it's in the 30s somewhere there. It just broke in this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Tassie chart, the Tassie Top 40. I think it's number 18 or something. It just debuted in there this week. And,
wow, that's cool.
And Australian Country Radio, I've been really good with it. Sort of playing it every day, and he's featured it as a hot track as of last week. So it's been a good debut week.
Good on John.
Been received well.
Yeah, and you got onto our request on the Oz Country Down Under radio station too. So you're being played throughout the request playlist.
That's awesome. That's great.
Your song has been requested and is being played in the request playlist on us. I love it. I love it. So even if somebody else didn't request it, I would have requested it myself.
Dave, love your work.
All right, just while you were playing that, Linda Wilkinson says, such a great sound. Well done, Chris. Beth Brown said, woohoo, yes. And Christine Vanus.
Thanks, Linda.
And Christine says, sounds like life.
Oh, beautiful.
Tiffany said, awesome, Chris. Christine said, then Christine said, good beat. It is. It's a great beat. And looks like Beth Brown was out dancing while you were doing that.
Yeah.
And she's like, clap, clap, clap. Biz Kelly said, awesome, mate.
Oh, thanks, Bizza.
Yeah, Bizza. There you go. Kim Dorman Cunningham said, well done, Chris.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah,
thanks,
you're getting a lot of Danny Shaw, one of my admin team, said great song. There you go. Thanks, Danny.
A legend. Thanks, Danny. Thank you.
Amy Williams said, woohoo!
Oh, yeah. Thanks, babe.
And Christine then said, congrats to you. And Nicholas Bin said, good song. So there you go. There's all the comments. We've had 33 comments. Does anybody have any questions for Chris before we say goodbye to him? Because before we say goodbye, actually, I want to know what have you got coming up for Chris Williams gig wise?
Yeah, gig wise, we've got a really big one coming up this week. Actually, what is it? Monday. So Saturday. Geez, I've gone blank. What are we in? November. Saturday, November the 10th. Crown Casino in Melbourne. There's a place called The Pub there. So Brad's playing with me there on this Saturday, April the 10th. And we've got a couple of gigs actually at Crown Casino as well in the Jackpot Bar there, December 22nd and December 29th as well, which is coming up. And we've got a lot of private parties and weddings and things like that in between. So keep them very busy. But the Crown Casino ones, we're trying to keep it sort of central in the CBD. And so, yeah.
It's like a residence for you, isn't it? I'm always seeing stuff that coming up at the Crown Casino. So it's like a residence.
Yeah, it sort of is. We're on the books there, and well, not on the books, but yeah, we just get asked to play there a fair bit, and yeah, it's great. It's good fun.
Are you going to play anywhere else, like New South Wales, for to say Queensland? Maybe even Tassie.
Yeah, look, I'd love to go. I'd love to play both New South Wales and Queensland and Tassie as well. We went over to Tassie to play the Tasmanian Country Music Awards, not the one just gone, but the year before. And that was fantastic. And I was just on the radio with Nigel Jones of Tiger FM actually on Saturday, and sort of he was saying, "Oh, you should come over and play." And so yeah, I'd love to go back to Tassie, and yeah, obviously New South Wales and Queensland. But I'd say 2019's the year for that. I think we'll see how we go with a few more songs and maybe put a tour together or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. We'd love to see you around. Because you can't just keep it for the Melbourne guys, You've got to give it to everybody.
Yeah, represent Melbourne. There's not a lot of artists in Melbourne, but yeah, it's like I'm representing in the country industry. But yeah,
I'll tell you what, there is a few. There's Andrew Swift, there's Greta Zilla, there's Benny Allen, come on, Gareth Leach, come on, let's
Weeping Willows from Melbourne.
The Weeping Willows, yes.
Yeah, Weeping Willows, Aaron Darcy, Rick Hart.
Aaron Darcy, look, there you go. There's heaps in Melbourne.
Yeah, there is.
That's fantastic.
I mean, obviously, in contrast to Queensland, New South Wales, is I think the country music scene up there is a lot a bit bigger,
So, someone just asked, "Am I going to sing?" My goodness, no. I'm supposed to be the radio presenter. I'm supposed to be the interviewer, the interviewee.
Sing a song, don't you?
I think I've got a guitar somewhere. God, no. No. Maybe another time. All right. So, I've never had that before.
So your show's getting big. It's taken off, Dave.
It is. It's getting there. I tell you. I'm getting famous for doing all these Monday Night Live shows. Talking about Monday Night Live shows, obviously next week we have Ben Gunn is going to be joining us next Monday night. He's got his new single out called Only in Australia, which I appear on the front cover of his album. How's that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I saw his front cover there with all the
yes. A lot of the radio presenters and people that have supported country music in Australia have been put on his front cover on his cover of his album, which I thought was very, very, very flattering, and I'm honoured to be there. So that's very good.
Yeah, it's great.
And I think Beth, are you on there? I don't know. I think Beth Brown might be on there. I'm pretty sure. And Leonie McClure, she'd have to be there too, Yeah. So no, Dave is not going to sing tonight. We can only ask. Yes, maybe one day when I record a new song, I might actually sing it on Monday Night Live. Someone else will have to interview me then. There you go. All right, guys. All right. So if there's no other questions, it's been great. What's that? Hold on. Maybe you can understand this. I'll put it up there for you to read.
Dude.
So do I. So do I. So Beth is honoured to be on that album cover as well. So very good. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us, Chris. And
my pleasure, Dave.
we love what you do, and keep it going. Keep up the good work, and
Thanks,
we hope to see you in New South Wales real soon. Okay, because
absolutely.
And then I'm sure Jenny would love, if Danny's just said thanks so much, Chris, but I'm sure she'll love to see you.
No worries, Danny.
All right, so big tour happening for Chris Williams next year, because he's got to go and see Danny. He's got to come and see me. He's going to have to go and see Glenda and Brendan Deshawn up in Queensland, Robert Holmes in Newcastle. You know, the whole team. Everybody wants you. All right, so there you go.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
No worries. Well, it's been fantastic talking to you tonight, and wish you luck with the new single and, of course, the upcoming EP, which we hope will drop in December.
Thanks, guys. It's nice to speak to all you guys, and thanks for all your support too by playing the song, and it's been great. So thanks so much.
All right, no problem. You have a good night. Get back to your family. And for us, until next Monday night, where we will see Ben Gunn, that's it for me. I will be back at 8 p.m. next Sunday night. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Good night all.
See you guys.